Please.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Syed. Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining us and still staying after so long. So very excited to share this panel on exploring blockchain for good. So before I invite our panelists up, let me just give a quick introduction about myself and also Modal, the company that I'm part of, and also Blockchain for Good Alliance. Yeah, so my name is YH. I'm Web3 lead at Modal. As you can see from the banner, Modal, we are a Web3 builder community. So we do a lot of things like education workshops, hackathons, and we organize a lot of events with our partners. So if you are interested to join our community, please scan the QR code to join our community. And another thing that we are also starting recently is a community initiative called Blockchain for Good. So this is an alliance, meaning that we don't have a centralized decision maker. We are collaborating with partners to ideate on projects, to help projects that are building for good, building for true use case in the world. All right, so with this, let me invite some of our very esteemed panelists here who are working on such projects to share about their journey and why did they choose to actually come up with companies that are doing stuff that are for the real world and for social good as well. So let's invite Max, the co-founder of Libera, which is a transparent supply chain project that makes commerce, invisible commerce, visible. Yeah, so Max, you can sit anywhere, and then this is your mic. So next up, we have also Mustafa Gula, the founder of Edu3 Lab. So they are trying to make education 2.0 to 3.0 with blockchain and artificial intelligence. So Mustafa. And then last but not least, we also have a very interesting project. We have Miguel from UCO Network. So very interesting. UCO refers to Used Cooking Oil Network. So later on, Miguel will share with you more about what his project does. Awesome. So thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, thanks the 3M of tonight. Max, Mustafa, and Miguel. Yeah, so maybe to start off, can you guys help to explain your project in one sentence? What does your project do and how does it help the society? Let's start from Max.
Yeah, hi, it's great to be here. Thank you very much, YH. Yeah. At Libera, we help millions of small retailers in emerging markets to sell their data to large corporate brands so that the brands know what products to distribute and so that the small retailer can have additional income and get the benefits of AI and advanced data analytics.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here. To explain about the Edu3 Labs, actually, we are defining ourselves Web3 and AI-based education platform in which we are focusing on gamified, personalized, incentivized, and decentralized learning. So our aim is to be a bridge between Web2 and Web3 education. So by this way, educating people about blockchain technologies and at the same time bring new people, new crowd from Web2 to Web3.
Hello everyone, my name is Miguel Costa. I'm one of the founders of UCO Network. We are an impact tech sustainability oriented project and we aim to address from a consumer side of things a problem related with the participation and proper disposal of the used cooking oil that you or the majority of us produce at home at our kitchens. So we are a mix of a Web 2 and Web 3 project. So we sit in the middle. We are a Web 2.5. And the main goal is to create the convenience, bring the awareness, bring the education and the rewards, the incentives, so that everyone, next time that you fry an egg at home, you know what to do with the oil. That's what is moving us and that's what we want to share with everyone. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. So as you know, in the crypto and blockchain space, a lot of projects, they are very short term and mostly they just want to, list token and maybe they pump and dump their token and they run off. So there are very limited projects that are really solving real world issue with their project. So maybe maybe Max, Miguel, and Mustafa, maybe you can share some key moments of your journey, like what made you decide to actually build on this, because there are many more ways to build that could be easier. So why did you decide to take on this challenge? Any defining moment?
Yeah. Well, one of the challenges that we face is big corporate brands in emerging markets tend to not trust a lot of the information that they're getting about the bottom of the pyramid in these countries where most of the products are sold. And the reason is it's an extremely fragmented area. There are so many small stores buying from other small distributors. In Indonesia alone, it's 4 million very tiny nano merchants. And they're just all over the place. And people think it's just impossible to get reliable data from them. And so one challenge is trust. And the other challenge is really incentivization and finding a way to encourage the stores themselves to share data. And what we found is that a tokenized micro incentive is a great way to link the business problems of the big corporates with the lives of people that have monthly incomes of around $300 to $400 a month or even less. And to give a percentage of the economic value of data back to the people that create it, and to do that in a way that with decentralization and smart contracts allows anybody to see where that data is being bought and sold, and that there's a fair percentage of the economic value of that data distributed back. And it even has a community effect, where once you get the ball rolling and more people can see what's happening across the community and see that that's not being hidden from others, it enhances trust and adoption of the entire solution. So that's really why our solution needs to be decentralized and why we need to use tokenized micro incentives.
From our perspective, actually, we see that education is a key element for societies, and education is highly needed to create happy societies and at the same time destroy poverty and also many problems. But what we see in education is that there are huge problems in current education system. First of all, there is a big gap between education and real life. And at the same time, what we see is that there is no fair environment in the education system. Academics, they are not paid fairly, and there is no ownership in terms of the contents, and at the same time there is a lack of incentivization, and by this way that we see that the new generation, they are being far away from education, so they are not tend to go to universities anymore. They want to take advantage from different resources other than going to good schools and etc. So we took that challenge because we highly believe that education should be more decentralized, and all the content creators, the academics, they should be rewarded fairly, and at the same time to increase the engagement, and especially the students, the successful students, they should be incentivized and rewarded fairly. And that's why we decided to build a purely Web3 based education platform, and at the same time we believe that at some point education should be personalized as well. And here AI came to our journey. Why we believe education should be personalized? Because obviously that there are some core subjects that everyone should know, but at the same time everyone's skill set, the needs and also weaknesses, they are different. So with the power of AI, and we believe that the personalized curriculum can be created. So by this way, the technology will allow us to develop ourselves better and efficiently. And yeah, to summarize, that's our journey and the goal.
Cool. Just a question, because AI has been a hot topic recently. So I'm just curious, because I know Max as well, Liberia also utilize AI. So just curious, was AI in your roadmap previously, or did you all also jump on the hype, and
Yeah.
why did you incorporate that?
So in our roadmap, we are building an AI university, which you can think like education version of ChatGPT. We have currently 4 faculties, and each faculty is led by AI professors. And once you enter into faculty, that you will be facing like the gamified experience, and at the same time you will be having one-on-one sessions with the professors. And each time we collect the data, we will be understanding the skill set, the path, the journey like the students can take. So our AI module will be creating like personalized curriculums, the learning paths for you, and then you will be having like one-on-one sessions. So as an Edu3 Labs, we will be launching AI University by the end of this month, which we have been working for like 5-6 months. So yeah, we will be coming with some unique product related with focusing purely on education.
Cool. What about next? So how did AI come into place? Was it already within?
Before AI was a hype, it was already in our roadmap, because we truly believe that we have an advisory board from academics, and we are partnering with 30 different universities, and all the feedbacks we have, AI will be transforming the education, and so that's why we have been prepared. But just like AI app didn't change our roadmap, just created more awareness about our project. So it was since day one, AI was in our roadmap.
Cool. Yeah, so because I guess blockchain, AI are both emerging technologies, so with all the technological advances and changes, of course, projects is great to include it into your roadmap as well. Yeah. So, next.
Yeah, I think for us, actually, the first name of the company was Libera Trade Artificial Intelligence. It was about doing artificial intelligence for these big brands in emerging countries. But then we found out that it's very difficult to do if you don't have the sales data. So how can you do AI for Nestle if you don't know what Nestle is selling in Indonesia? And that's really how we got into the whole concept of data acquisition and how to get data at scale and make it trusted, because otherwise you just have algorithms and models with bad data. You don't have, or no data. There's no AI for big businesses. So that's what AI was always the purpose, and getting good data from the people that originated. That's the way we enable the AI.
Cool. So what about Miguel? What about how did you start with this cooking oil, used cooking oil? Because it's really very interesting. This is the first time I've heard of a project that are utilizing used cooking oil for data, and yeah.
Do you have any idea why the world is interested to collect that used cooking oil? Anybody has an idea? Why the world wants to collect used cooking oil?
And what type of used cooking oil? There
Anyone?
is so many type of oil.
Any kind of fat or grease coming from a vegetable or animal is sourcing a multi-billion-dollar industry that is out there for more than a decade. This kind of grease and vegetable fat is going to end up in your car, in your flight at Emirates. I'm talking about biofuels, okay? Advanced biofuels, sustainable aviation fuel. So our journey starts with a scratching head moment, and I'm going to try to explain this as simple as possible. We as a Web2, we found ourselves in a waste management organization that told us, look guys, we need to automate all our entire collection process, because they were doing it on paper and Excel spreadsheets. And we gave them a simple, straightforward mobile app. That's when we uncovered a major problem that the industry faces. Simple. Where is government money? There is fraud. Where there is subsidies, there are smart, or maybe not that smart guys trying to take advantage. So our kicking moment of moving from a Web 2 to a Web 3 was the fact that there is an industry that is flooded with fraud. And what the key solution to address that risk of fraud is to have immutable records. So you put those records in a tamper-proof database and the issue is sorted. And that was our beginning of everything. So we started getting more curious and more interested, what else can we do here? So then we realized that there are billions and billions of used cooking oil and other waste that majority of us every day we cook, and without realizing what we are doing, we are putting down that used cooking oil down the sink, down the drain. And that's a major problem for everyone out there. You know, it's going to end up in the water flows, it's going to end up in the soil, and the problem only grows bigger. So we understood that there's a major problem of awareness, education, and participation. Most of the people, even myself, before getting in touch with this 3 years ago, without realizing I was putting down the oil down the drain. So we understood that 90%, over 90% of the people are disposing of the oil. And if we think that 1 ton of this waste is worth more than $1,300 per ton, we are talking big money here. So that's why we bring the component of Web3, also in the sense of educating and giving incentives, awareness that everyone can participate and be motivated and rewarding to do so. That's it.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Miguel. Really, first time I've ever heard of a project.
What are you going
dealing
to do
with
next
used
time that you
cooking
fry
oil.
an egg?
All right. So next time I have cooking oil, I will contact you to to get the data. Yeah. Great. So with this, right? Because as you know, in the industry, people always say blockchain testing. Yeah, people always say blockchain is a buzzword, and everything is hot air. So maybe can you all also share your journey and any challenges you faced when you are trying to get your project out, get investors, get people to utilize your project as well. So what are some challenges?
Yeah, it's been a lot of ups and downs. The first time I got into blockchain was 2017, 2018, and I was CEO of a company I founded that had a VC board, and the VC board didn't want me to get into blockchain and tokens at all. About a month ago, I was contacted by that same very large fund, and they were looking for new Web3 projects to invest in. So it was kind of funny. But there was quite a challenge back in the day, and you kind of go through ups and downs. But ultimately you got to think about the features and the benefits that Web3 can bring. And for the industry that we look at, which is nano merchant digitalization and retail data in emerging markets, we're the only Web3 company that we can do some things that the others can't. And so for us, it's really competitive advantage. Building a solution that allows us to acquire more data and more trusted data than our competitors, and eventually beat Nielsen in these countries. So I think it's been up and down, and it's been frustrating. I think the volatility is always a challenge, and I think Web3 founders need to be mindful of that and financially responsible and put good governance into their companies. That's what we're trying to do with Libera.
From my perspective, actually, there's a skill lack of knowledge about blockchain technology and Web3. What is really blockchain and which problems in real life blockchain can solve. And at the same time, as he mentions, there's still volatility and reputation things as well. So many people think that blockchain and Web3 world is about just pump and dumps and etc. And so as Web3 founders, first of all, we need to sort it out by solving real life problems and bringing new people from Web2 especially. That's one of our main goals. And at the same time, as Web3 Labs, one of the biggest challenges we had actually is that we want to combine education industry and Web3 industry, but actually they don't have enough knowledge about each other. For example, in Web3 space, we have been working with our project for 2.5 years. Once you tell education to Web3 people, at the beginning they were only thinking about blockchain 101 courses or trading videos of crypto influencers. But education industry is not about this. It's huge $1 trillion economy. And on the other hand, once you go to universities and Web2 online education platforms and telling about Web3 technologies, they were thinking it's only pump dump schemes and scammers, and that's blockchain industry is about. So to combining these two and convincing people, for us it wasn't easy, and that was the main difficulties we had. But recently we are seeing that so many different universities, and which you are doing great job as well, like convincing Harvard University is a big step, for example. So awareness is increasing, and with the integration of real world assets and big players and the ETFs and etc., these are increasing the reputation of our industry. So by this way, we have a big chance to achieve our goals by this way.
Well, in our case, the main challenge is definitely not the technology, because we are looking to reach consumers and the business players out there by abstracting everything technology. The corporates, they don't want to know about blockchain, they don't want to know about tokens, they don't want to know about Web3. So that for us is definitely not a problem, because we are abstracting everything from them. They just want to care, they just care about the product that fits their use cases and solves their problems. I would dare to say that our main challenge is this industry, because this industry is claiming all the time, we want real world use cases. We bring something called used cooking oil, and the industry scratches their heads. Definitely we need to improve in our communication, we need to become more effective, but what I feel is that the industry maybe is not ready for real world use cases as simple as recycle to earn, as simple as dispose properly of your waste, as simple as if you do the right behavior, the sustainable behavior, here is your reward, go back to the petrol station, use redeem your tokens, get a discount on your tank, go to the restaurant, get a free dessert. So this is what we are doing, and I must boldly say that our biggest challenge is about acceptance, is about support of the Web3 industry itself. But we are strong and we are stubborn. So we keep pushing, insisting and persisting until the industry starts joining us, at least with their few drops of used cooking oil. That's what we want. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, so awesome. Like, I see a lot of positive energy here, which is great, because we all need this positive energy in this industry, especially, you know, it's a very short cycle. Projects can easily, like, you know, fade off. So commendable effort. Yeah, so thanks for helping to drive the blockchain for good kind of impact. So with this, right, like what Miguel mentioned, it is hard to encourage real world use cases, because do people even want to use this type of like applications, projects? So how do you think we can further encourage more projects to build real world use cases? What will really help? Like, maybe you can think from your project's perspective. Maybe what is the top thing in your wish list, or, you know, that will really help to grow your project moving forward?
You know, I know a lot of entrepreneurs around the world, including in emerging markets, that have a hard time getting funding. I think that's about 9 out of 10 or 95 out of 100, something like that. And I think there's capital available in Web3, but it's not always easy for your average entrepreneur to understand how to access it. And even for me, and I think it's starting to go quite well for us, but it's taken me years to really fully understand that combination of Web 2 and Web 3 and how to put it together in a structure that really works, and to understand what good tokenomics really means and how to really find the right launch pads and partners. And I just think, I wish it was, I've even thought about this a little bit, is, you know, maybe we could have our own ways to support quality entrepreneurs with great ideas and great missions, and help them understand how to build and raise capital in the Web3 environment, just to make it easier for them to understand. And so I think there's more and more accelerators and incubators being created. And I think maybe that's something that Blockchain for Good Alliance can do, is help to bring that, as we bring more projects into that alliance. And then you know, help thousands of small startups in Africa and Asia to come in and tap into Web3, and that's going to create a better ecosystem, and we can channel that money in effective ways, and even do it for impact, I believe. So that's my thought.
My thought is starting with funding, and I definitely agree, because like as an entrepreneurs, we need to raise enough fund that we can survive, and we can manage our operations, obviously. But from as a Web3 founder, I think the main thing we should be able to do is that answering the question, why Web3, why tokenization? Because like unfortunately there's a bad reputation about like token business, issuing tokens. There was like unfortunately so many scammers, they hurted so many people and they robbed financially. So as a Web3 founders and Blockchain for Good Alliance, I think we can teach people about how tokenization may solve so many problems in real life. Because like distributing ownership is a key thing. As a Web3 developers and the platform owners, like giving chance everyone to be a user and at the same time to be partner of the ecosystem, I think it's something huge, which we should be able to educate more people about this. And yeah, it's like the increasing the reputation, building real life utilities as much as possible, and solving real world problems. These are the key things we should be focusing on.
Well, in our case, we are very practical and pragmatic. If I would have a wish list, my wish list would be only two words, and it's not gazillion dollars. It's time and care. Give us a little bit of your time. Make an effort to try to understand what, in our particular case, we are trying to achieve, and then make a decision if you care or not. That would be our basic, simple ask. And okay, if we dare, give us more than 2 or 3 minutes, give us 10 minutes. Maybe it's going to be worth for everybody. At the end of the day, what we ask to everybody, now that you are aware about this weird stuff of used cooking oil intersecting with blockchain and Web3, try to find out more, and next time that you fry an egg, think about us. Thank you.
Awesome. All of you here still listening, later on, maybe after the panel, feel free to approach Miguel, Max and Mustafa as well to learn more about their project and also see how you can help or maybe even to try out their solution. That would be a great support already. Yeah. So with this, right, before we end, I also want to check whether we have any questions from the public, questions from any of you about their project. Very interesting. We have a used cooking oil, data management. We have education with AI. We also have making invisible commerce visible. So any feedback or anything you want to share? All right, so nothing. So before we end, maybe let me just have a last question, last point for you. Maybe if there's something you can share with everyone here right now, what would you say? Like, how can maybe public help to support and engage other than trying out your project? So any last words for our very nice audience here that have been here for a very long time as well?
I just think it is possible to make money and deliver good things to society at the same time. And I think we're coming into a world where the best companies and hopefully some of the best startups really put that into their DNA at an early stage. And if you do it right, it's exciting because people start kind of coming to you, and talent comes to you, and investors come to you, and then you feel better about what you're doing every day, working the entrepreneur grind 24/7. So.
I would like to say thank you for inviting us here, and it was a very enjoyable panel. And what I would like to say is that as Web3 ecosystem, we need alliances and establishments like Blockchain for Good, because it's not only increasing the reputation of our industry, and at the same time, it's also reminding us that doing business, and it's not only about the financial things like making money, because we should be able to touch the people's life, and at the same time engaging with our community and with the services we are providing. I would like to thank you again for inviting me here, and at the same time, as Edu3 Labs, we are proud to be part of Blockchain for Good Alliance.
Awesome.
Yeah, and by the same line of my colleagues, obviously, we are completely agreed with everything that just mentioned. We believe that small actions, all combined, can make a huge difference. So, congratulations for the initiative. We are very interested to know more about the Alliance and how can we contribute to it. And basically, that's it. The ask is that all of us, we are aware. We know that we can join the best of both worlds of sustainability, Web3, blockchain, and making return of our investments. So let's stay conscious, let's stay focused, and let's do the right thing and use the technology for good. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Max, Mustafa, and Miguel. And like what Max and Mustafa mentioned as well, even though for example, the projects you are doing is for good, it doesn't mean you can't earn money from it. So for example, I know that Mustafa, your project actually has a token. Yeah, so NFE, so maybe you want to share a bit about it as well, since we have the...
Yeah, actually, like education, being a edtech startup is kind of like sensitive thing. So you should be very careful before issuing your token. So our dream is like building an education 3.0 ecosystem, and we wanted to put NFE as a center of it. It's like including so many different utilities of each of our product, and at the same time we will be activating governance model because we want to build a truly decentralized education environment that the content creators and users, they vote what type of contents will be in our platform, and at the same time with which universities we will be partnering or which community service project it will be in our pipeline. So issuing a token, there were like many challenges we had, and at the same time we are happy right now because it allowed us to build a global community in day one, which Web2 startups, they don't have that chance. So it's the power of tokenization that we can reach millions of people from different countries. So as I mentioned that our aim is to build a real utility token and the center of our economy which we want to build.
Awesome. So thanks, Mustafa. So feel free to go and take a look at their projects, Edu3 Lab, UCO Network, and Liberal Trade as well. Yeah. So all of them are doing very great use cases. So feel free to go and talk to the founders after this panel as well. So once again, thank you so much for joining this panel. And also today we just launched Blockchain for Good Alliance. So if you're free to find out more, feel free to go to the website blockchainforgood.xyz. Yeah, so we are looking for more partners to join us to, build use cases for blockchain and also to drive blockchain for good. So if you're interested, feel free to also approach me to find out more. And we look forward to change the world together with blockchain with everyone here. So thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you once again to our last panelists. Guys, if you are a for context, we've got Internet Computer Protocol here, we've got Moldau here, and we're sitting in the Bybit office, right? So I just want to give you an example of a beautiful collaboration that happened probably right in front of your eyes between these three entities. UCO Network meets today the Blockchain for Good Alliance for the first time right here in the office, a project that is aspiring to build on ICP, and just like that, I'm pretty sure that there is going to be a lot in the making between the Blockchain for Good Alliance because UCO has a very, very nice fit into that ecosystem and into that equation. Now, next up, I'm very, very excited to be hosting this panel actually, because Carlos is sadly not going to make it, but I'd love to welcome on stage Pranav, Mirko, and Dr. Pavel. Round of applause for the gentlemen.
Follow the same sequence.
Nice. All right, thank you guys. So I think we've got quite a diverse group of people sitting in front of us here that I found that are going to give a very interesting and unique perspective into what are the ins and outs and do's and don'ts of being a successful founder, right? I'll leave the gentlemen to introduce themselves, and then I will wrap it up for you to tell you why I think there's such a good combination for you guys. So please go ahead.
Hi everybody. Hi everybody, good evening. Thanks for having me. My name is Pranav. I lead the venture arm for Foundership. We are an accelerator VC, and I think we've got like the best. I was telling Mirko outside that we've got the best slot after food, before the VCs. So hopefully everybody's here listening to what we're saying.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to join this wonderful panel. My name is Pavel. I'm a founder of Synexis. It's a platform for helping founders to be more transparent and efficient in front of the investors. So we automate on-chain all the operations of the startups in order to help them fundraise easier and to help investors to make more data-driven and successful investments. Yeah, and I think this talk will be very interesting today.
Hey guys, thanks for having me, ICP. I'm Amazing Sound System, by the way. I'm Mirko. I lead the developer relationship efforts for MetaMask mainly. And yeah, excited to be here with this panel of superstars.
All right, thank you guys. Mirko, you gotta rub it in, huh? Okay, so I gotta say, the last time me and Mirko were on stage together, there was Solana sitting in between us, and it was a Twitter war started. It's fair to say. All right, so the reason I think these guys are going to give you a very interesting perspective into what being a successful founder takes is because we've got Pranav from Foundership with the acceleration and the venture part of things. Mentorship is at the core of what they do, and guiding people to success is at the core of what they do. I firsthand witnessed cohort after cohort of founderships with very, very interesting and successful projects coming out of it, right? Pavel has a platform that essentially brings into one place IP and tech, and as well scoring and investor relations for projects and the VCs that want to invest in them. So Pavel is going to can also give us a very interesting perspective into the data points that you can assess a project on, quantifiable things that make a project or break a project. And Mirko, because at the end of the day, being a founder is one thing, but being a devpreneur is another thing, and being a founder that interacts with developers is a completely other thing, right? And I think there is definitely a certain finesse when dealing with technical people that I think to one way or the other, Mirko is very familiar with that since he comes from a developer background. But by the way, you don't usually see many developers sitting on stage, so yeah, kudos to that. So, Pranav, given then your unique insight, right? I want to tackle a very interesting point. We hear people always say that it's about the team, it's about the people, right? We hear them say that you assess a team's enthusiasm, you assess a team's stickiness by certain parameters. Tell us a little bit more about how you as Foundership are investing in these people and what you guys look for within these people. What's something there?
So for us, when we're investing and onboarding companies into our programs, we look at 2 or 3 things when it comes to the founders. We look for a founder product fit or a founder market fit. So has that founder group worked in that product group before or in that market group before? And the other thing we look for is there a sign of resilience? Because I always say that starting up means jumping out of a plane and building a parachute on the way down. Yeah. So with that, if a founder is going to give up, they can never win. If a founder never gives up, they'll always win. So it's all about if a founder is long enough in the game, willing to grind through. We've had like 18 months of an insane bear market, And we told all our founders, it's about survival right now. Don't bother about how you look in the market. Just survive this bear market, and here we are with a new all-time high. It doesn't matter now how they got through 2023. So those are the two things for us: founder market fit and resilience. Will they never give up?
So market fit, resilience and grit, and I think the parachute example says also adaptability to the market conditions, right? So then, Pavel, when you're looking at a project and your AI is assessing a project, what are some of the hard data points that you can share with us? Something quantifiable that you can say is a significant measure of a project's potential of being successful?
A project or a team?
I think a team, maybe
Okay,
more
let's
so a
talk
team,
about
yes.
the team, yeah. So yeah, thank you for the question. I will add a little bit about parachute with the words of Reid Hoffman.
Guys, sorry, guys in the back, can I just get a quick round of applause from everyone? Okay, if you're clapping, then you can listen, please. So anyone who's in the back, guys, pivot, guys, hello? Come make it to the front. If not, we have a networking area just around the corner where you can sit, but I think there's some really, really good insights that you're about to miss if you're not here. So, please, on to Pavel.
Wonderful, thank you. So I will add a little bit about parachute with the quote from Reid Hoffman, founder of LinkedIn. The founder's journey is to jump off the scale of the reef, yeah, and instead of parachute, you need to build the plane right when you fly down. Because when you fly out, when you jump out of that, you think you know that, but in fact you don't know what you will build. And this is about adaptability. So I think one of the key features of the good founder is really pivoting and adaptability, to be ready to pivot maybe several times, and specifically in Web3 niche, because where we have the so fast change of technologies, and it means that pivot is everything. So I think, and many founders and many startups fail because of they can't pivot. They just too sticky to their idea, initial one. Yeah. And considering about your question now, so what's possible to measure? So on Synexis, so we drive with ideas. So we have a very nice set of technologies now when we can literally digitalize many of startup operations in order to bring data in a very secure way to help with the ZK and many other beautiful things, to help investors to make right decisions, to help them the right decision. Because anyways, the final decisions it will be by the gut feeling and the experience. But what we can do, for example, we have a team and we can measure the commitment, we can measure their deliverables, and we can, based on that, we can provide the blockchain timeline data about what team is. So instead of asking the question how well you are committed, how long you are together and stuff, you can see all the picture of that, and that can help to make the due diligence much easier. Super. Yep.
Thank you for that, Pavel. And Mirko, so I'm not a developer, right? So when I'm going to go and become a founder, I'm not going to be a non-technical founder. Tell me, let's say, one or two things that I need to know when I'm dealing with a developer, and how to treat them accordingly, and how to make sure that I don't lose them.
I think that's actually one of the hardest part, right? It's hire a technical team, like what I see. Also, I wear many hats. I do angel investment. I talk to a lot of founders on a weekly basis, and what I see that what everyone kind of struggles with is how do we hire developers? How do we hire a good CTO? I think for me, it's usually what I like in teams is to see that at least one of the founders is like a very charismatic person, someone with a good vision, especially during kind of bull markets. There is a lot of opportunistic people that kind of join Web3, they just create a project that doesn't really have a long vision. I try to always stay kind of clear from those, and like I think also as an engineer, as someone that is very technical, it's important to kind of have someone that I can kind of look up to, right? Not just in a tech perspective, but mainly in a kind of vision perspective. And obviously, like as I was mentioning, there is a lot of opportunity people that it's also a kind of a bit of a VC game, because everyone is kind of looking for the kind of short-term kind of game, which I don't think is gonna pay out like in the long term, to be honest. and also like usually these teams are also the one that struggle to build the product because like there is no real kind of big kind of innovation behind, right?
So sticking with you there for a second, again, using myself as an example, I can't tell much if I'm looking at a piece of code, right? So let's say, for example, I've got a developer, he's been building for a while, he shows me this piece of code, I'm like, hey, yeah, everything is done and I don't know what, but then, you know, how can I, as a non-technical person, audit something like this? How can I know that I'm not being scammed when I'm working with, let's say, for example, a third-party development company? How do I know there's no backdoors being built in the contract? So smart contract audits are obviously a way, but they're expensive, right? So is there like maybe a less expensive way that we could audit something like this?
Get a technical co-founder, probably. I think it's like, at the end, like I also see like a lot of solo founders, but again, that's like a life on hard mode, right? You always need to find someone that can kind of complement your skills. That's why it's really important to have always a person that like has like good technical capabilities in the team, or like if that's not like a possibility, like go out in your network and reach out to people that you know and that they can recommend maybe someone. It could even be an agency, right? To build an MVP, you don't need a full-time kind of team of engineers. You can use an agency, but like reach out to your network and make sure that you work with people that you trust.
Right, so trust is a very important element here. I mean, we are building ultimately towards a trustless ecosystem. Hopefully one day, you know, that's the promise of blockchain, trustless and transparent. But yeah, I think we're still a ways away from that. We've got quite a lot of work to do to get there. Okay, on to Pranav. I'd love to ask you in terms of when you sit with someone, when you sit with a founder, what are some red flags that I should avoid sending when I'm talking to someone that maybe wants to invest in my project or wants to incubate my project?
So I think as a founder, it's very important to be genuine, right? So if you know something, come out, own it. I know this is how it's done. I've done it in this manner, but I'm open to suggestion, but this is the way to do it, right? You own your wins. And at the same time, if you don't know something well enough, we think this is the best way to go forward as of now. The market is changing, the environment is adapting, and we'll adapt ourselves to that changing environment. For me, a big red flag personally, Mirko, also we've done some investments here and there, but the idea is that if we feel the founder is doing it for the money, it's a very big red flag in my eyes. It's exactly like I always give the example of when you go to a business school and they ask you in the interview, why do you want to study at Harvard? You don't tell him, I want a $100,000 job. You tell him, I want great students, I want great peer group, I want great faculty, I want amazing infrastructure, I want the brand name, right? All of that does result in you making money in a great job at the end of your education, but that's not why you came to school. So exactly the same reason, why are you starting up? Are you passionate? And that all boils down to the same point about you will not give up because you were not in it for the money, you were in it for that one problem-solving opportunity that you saw, and therefore you stuck long enough, and obviously you made money in the bargain.
All right, so just sticking with you there on that, what's then the balance between, let's say, passion for a product and building something that solves a problem and profitability of the product? Would you ideally have the profitability to be a side effect of the product, or is that something that needs to be built in there?
So when I say make money, it's not the business making money, it's the founder who wants to make money out of the business. So I'm starting up because I want to make $1 million in the next 1 year. That's like the entirely wrong reason to start up, right? And especially with crypto where boundaries are lower, entry barriers, like literally the four of us could take this table here, bring a computer, give it to Mirko, have a launch a project in the next 3 hours, right? And probably get funded too. And because the entry barriers are that low, it's all the more important for us as a Web3 accelerator to be able to evaluate that. However, we pay a lot of attention to a business model. So any business we incubate, we definitely want them to have a super strong business model. Even if it's not profitable on day zero, but it has to be a business model that pays out in the end.
All right. So, do you have something to say to that?
Yeah,
Please.
100%, because this is between passion, vision, and business. And what, adding to your previous question, being a non-technical co-founder, you ideally at least get some knowledge in all the major parts of your business, because you don't want to be the person who don't understand the things you take responsibility for and you pay money for.
Yeah.
So whether it's development, whether it's marketing, or whether it's finance, you need to be at least. You need to cover things on top level at least. Then it will help you to find the right people, and then you understand that what you tell you. So even like developing things, so I'm not a developer as well. I have this skill from my educational part of time, but now I'm following all the tech. So I visit all the conferences. I just literally check the algorithms and stuff. I don't code them, but I understand how they work. So I know then how to talk to my CTO and every person of the team. So I think that's crucial. And about passion, vision, and that side of things, without passion, it's not possible to keep team alive during the hard times. Because passion is everything. Because if you have passion, people will always stick. But then you need to balance that. So still you need to earn money and you need to be in the product too much. So this is just like thing to balance always.
Thanks for your thoughts on that. Now that you're speaking, I'd also love to hear your insights on specifically the topic of IP, right?
Okay.
IP is expensive, it's tedious, it's not like I'm gonna go and get an idea and I'm gonna go and get an IP for it right away. I have to work up to that, right? So tell us maybe what is the point at which you need to consider that and at which it's a must to do so, and also how is what you're building tapping into that?
Okay, yeah, thank you for the question. So IP is a piece. So if you check what is tech startup is, it's a team, right? Because it's people who will execute. It's the tech or product itself. And in fact, for tech company, it's 95% it's IP, because it's all they have. And then the market, when you bring the product to the market. So if we speak about tech and IP, the ideal way to manage the things properly from the very first day. Yeah, because most of startups, specifically tech startups and in Web3 space, they don't know about that. Because it's something they just always postpone for future. But this is the value. If there is a possibility to protect and copyright and know-how and later potentially the patent, it brings the two things for the company. It brings the competitive advantage, because if you can protect the things, you have several years ahead that you can conquer the market. And that is crucial, because in that time you can make already 80% of the market can be yours. And the second thing, other than the conquering the market and protecting the things, this is the way that you can come to as well patenting the things. So once you properly manage the things from the very first day, then when you come to your patent attorney and show the story that everything is there, it will be much cheaper to draft the patent worldwide, and it will be much faster. And this is what I came to when I saw NFTs, then ZK technologies, and then step by step the things that happen in crypto. I thought, oh, this is the ideal thing to use for managing legal stuff. So it is what we are doing. So we help startups from the very first day, without big spend on legal, on autopilot, to manage copyrights, to manage know-how, to manage all confidential information on one place. And then when you're ready, you just go to patent attorney to draft the patent, and then you just have many years up front in front of you. This is crucial, and this should be simple. It should be on-chain as soon as we're in Web3, and it is what we are bringing to the market now and help to startups to be more successful. Yeah.
Right, thank you guys so much for your insight. Big round of applause for our panelists, please. I definitely took a lot away from that. There's a lot of things and tips and tricks that you really need to know to be a founder. Thank you guys so much for sharing that with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, bro.
We'll be glad to talk to you.
Let's take a picture.
Let's do that.
Just came, but I also see some people that have been here from the very, very beginning and have been paying attention attentively. Aaron probably still jet lagged from the US. Yeah, and I see you, bro. I see you, bro. Miguel and team is here as well. Thank you guys so much for your attentiveness. So we'll be wrapping this up now very shortly. So next up, we have the VC panel coming up with Juliet, Kim, and a few others. Guys, if you want to make your way to the stage, slowly but surely, please. I think it's just you and me today. No, I'm joking. I think we're missing Sara from the panel still. Sara's not here. Juliet, if you can join us as well, please. Yimkin. Yes. Mama remembers you.
What's that?
Mama remembers you. My mom is here. Hi, Juliet. Welcome. So I'll keep you guys company in the meantime. Please have a seat. Hey, how are you? Hey, Tana. Nice to meet you. So last time I had a panel with Juliet. It was an all-ladies panel, and it was a very impressive one at that. It was a female powerhouse of VCs, but I'm glad that we've got some diversity here as well with Ikuma today. But also Kim, with your move from being a serial entrepreneur to working now in venture capital. So it's very nice to have you guys here. We're just waiting for our moderator to join us. But in the meantime, Ikuma, are you based in Dubai or are you visiting here?
Yeah, based in here.
Based in Dubai, right?
Yeah, I just moved here 1 year, last month.
Okay. And what attracted you to come to Dubai?
I'm from Tokyo, but tax and regulation were terrible. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's why. Just
All right.
come here.
I mean, you're sitting among some of the Dubai ecosystem veterans, so make sure you make friends in this panel. So here you go, Juliet.
Apologies, everyone. I was like on the other side of the building, so sorry for that. But I think we kicked off. You kicked off already the panel. You already introduced yourself? Not yet. Okay. No, perfect. So hello everyone. It's great that you're still with us for the last panel for today, and we have a great panel and diverse panel about the next narratives and trends from VC perspective. And before we kick off into the panel, I would like to ask first everyone to introduce themselves and also their fund and what is their current scope.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to meet everyone today. So my name is Juliet. I'm a fund partner of New Tribe Capital. So I'm based in Dubai for 4 years. It's basically the same time we are running the VC up here. So we might be one of the earliest Web3 funds who were started here in Dubai. And we witnessed the whole growth of the ecosystem here. We invested in about 200 something projects, have a strong focus on the infrastructure nowadays, looking at different verticals. But of course, it's great we have the topic of the panel, narratives, because I believe narratives are ruling the space, running the space, and we're all switching our investment focus based on the narratives, current narratives on the market. Try this, it's better.
Okay. Thank you for having me. I'm Ikuma, founding partner of Tane. Tane is a crypto and investment research firm backed by Japanese companies such as SoftBank and other internet companies. And we focus on investing in infrastructure and middleware, focus on pre-seed, seed, and we are also running validators and doing delegate for DAO governance. We are looking forward to talking about next frontier. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Kim. I'm with Bankless Ventures. We're a new fund, so we launched last year. We have invested in about 50 projects from infrastructure all the way up to consumer. Excited to have this conversation.
Great. No, thank you everyone for the introduction. And let's kick it off. Right now we are in a very interesting stage on the markets. As mentioned, Juliette, you also said there are many narratives also at this moment, right? The good thing is, we can see narratives from a VC perspective on the one side as a long term. If you're a trader, it's more on the short term, right? And if you follow the hype, what is the next hot trend. And some of you saw already, there's meme culture going on. BRC20 is a big topic, DPIN. Which sector is for you the hottest one at this moment from?
So as an investor, as I always say, we need to have like a 360 degrees overview in the market and try to estimate what's happening there from multiple angles. So the way I foresee the market and the way we are estimating projects is that we really need the proper mass adoption. We really need the technology to scale because as of now, we are at least like, well, the figures is like 10, maybe 20 or 30% smaller than the Web2 market, but if it comes to the real users and the real mass adoption, the figures is even smaller. So we are focused on anything that can bring the retail users in flow on one side and the institutional players in flow on the other side. So to elaborate on that, like retail, so I'm a big fan of chain abstraction because that is technology that helps people to get the proper wallet and to trade like smooth within different chains, right? So it is one of the things. So we invested in like Zion and like particle network. So I'm just like trying to expand our like investment into this chain abstraction. The second one is like, of course, if we're like, it's just an example. If we're talking about institutional money, is like, of course, RWA. So even though we are still early, or some infrastructure that can break the barriers for enterprises to get into the market and provide, first of all, security and privacy. So some kind of combination in general of ZKP, of FHE, or some other technology, or some other types of enterprise infrastructure that can provide the smoothest access for them to enter the market might be good as well. So we also have a few portfolios in this space. But yeah, whatever happens, we just like focus on this angle. Will it help to bring the retail users in the space, or will it help to bring the institutional users to the space?
Cool. Yeah, our core investment thesis is infrastructure and middleware. And maybe someone said, especially in Japan, gaming and NFT entertainment is very popular, but we think we need more sophisticated infrastructure and middleware to build decentralized applications. So in that sense, we have focused on investing in privacy stuff by using FHE, Fury homomorphic encryption, and also MEV stuff. MEV is very complex, but every blockchain should treat MEV properly. In that sense, we have invested in Phoenix. It's an optimistic rollup by using FHE. And also we invested in Fastlane. It's the largest MEV solution project on Polygon. 70% of the validators, they are using software of Fastlane. Yeah, yep. And also we are also looking at consumer crypto. Maybe some of you are using Farcaster, Webcast, but actually I have founded 3 startups in consumer internet. In that sense, I don't understand how interesting Farcaster is. And also someone said, we can bring our social graph to anywhere, but I don't want to bring social graph. So, but I'm using Webcast and other application every day. And recently, Frames is a function, new function to enable the develop function on Webcast. And maybe it's an innovation of UX, but we need to still explore what's the value of consumer crypto. So yeah, that's it.
I feel like all the VCs are investing and looking at the same thing. It's the same narrative. Same thing with Bankless Ventures. We focused a lot on infrastructure as well as consumer, but like as you said, usefulness, like useful consumer crypto, because there's some consumer applications which is, they're just crypto for the sake of being crypto. Like people don't actually care about the decentralized component of it. And yeah, very excited for FHE, like that's an extension of ZK, where you can also do the computation on the private information. And infrastructure in general, I do think there's enough block space that is there right now, but it's all the things surrounding block space that kind of needs to be optimized. I learned this word synthesis, which is like you're taking bits and pieces of like ecosystems, like Solana, right? The SVM that has worked in the Solana ecosystem, and you're bringing it over into an ecosystem that has like the most secured mindshare. And so we're kind of excited about those type of infra. I wouldn't say we're invested in any L1 per se right now. There's a lot of L2s out there that we have been looking at. What else? Yeah, and on the social fi side, like we love Forecaster. We didn't get in that round, but we're very excited about the future of social. I can't think of anything that we all haven't mentioned right now.
No, great. No, there are a lot of similarities and a lot of sectors that you're focusing on. As some of you mentioned, most of you are focusing on early stage startups, right? From pre-seed to seed round. But when we're talking about evaluating projects, right, in the very early stage, what are for you the most important factors? And this is an open question, so any of you want to start reply?
I would say like at the early stage, the one thing that matters is the founder, because you're probably going to pivot a lot and you have no product market fit, you have no validation in the market as yet. And so I think Michael from YC like said it best, like in the first 10 minutes, you can know if this is the right founder. Like you can know if this is the founders that you should back. And then the other thing is understanding of the market. Like, is your product conceptually right for the market at this time? And I think just those two things. And as a VC, we don't know everything. We can't be an expert on FHE as well on consumer psychology. So we really depend on our network. We call them GPTs. So we might have like a ZK GPT or a consumer GPT, and we depend on these folks a lot for assistance. But yeah, a lot of it just comes down to the founders, and I know we shouldn't say this, but vibe-based due diligence is a big thing.
No, 100%. Even I remember in the beer market, like especially last year, where there were some panels where some VCs they talked about, now we have more time to do due diligence. But I mean, you always should do due diligence, and it should be as detailed as possible. So that's a very, very sad excuse that has been mentioned last year. So very important factor, as you mentioned, team. Also, of course, the use case itself, right? The tech, the tokenomics. So really, the DD has to have several factors to finally make the investment decision. And some of you, if anyone,
it's a very interesting question, because I might say this time, the main factor that's what are the other VCs at your cap table don't really work, because you never know, and because it's not also a VC driven market, and it's also KOLs driven market, it's also product market fit driven market, and they having the product in general, and if you have users who can just drive the token. So that's why the main thing what people rely on the last cycle is that who are in your cap table, do you have some tier 1 VCs? If so, no matter how much the valuation in, we are in. And then we've been here for that long, and I just got my formula for investing in projects. So it starts from the idea. So you evaluate the whole idea about the project, if it makes sense or not. Then the key factor is the team. So how capable they are to deliver this idea, how passionate they are about the idea. And then the next step is, of course, it's product market fit, if the idea and the product that they're building is fit in the current market. And if they're flexible to adjust, expand the product that they're building, next step is like go-to-market strategy. So these guys, they should have the proper strategy in place, not right now, but like in 1 year. Where are they going to be in 1 year? What is their target, like, in 1 year? That is, and then everything is matching. Then we also evaluated from the perspective how helpful we could be with the resources we have. So if we understand everything and everything makes perfect sense, I'll try to understand like, okay, we can help here, we can help there, we can support them long term, and then of course, like, if all these factors are coming into one picture, that is the key factor for us to invest.
Okay. I have founded 3 startups since 2009, and from that experience, what I learned that the 2 most important things are where they are competing and funders. And then I believe 80% of success is decided by where they are competing, the category. Yeah, because maybe growth potential and revenue, profitability, these type of things are decided by where they are competing, and then more influential than funders. Maybe how smart funders are. Maybe, for example, after iPhone emerged, mobile application was very growing rapidly. So if the founders are not smart, they could succeed. In that sense, we should look at where they are competing and also positioning. So our investment style is thesis driven. So we've done a bunch of research and to identify where we should invest in. And then after that, we're looking at funders. But looking at funders, from my experience, it's quite difficult because they are growing better way, and sometimes they are, how to say, they change badly or something like that. So, yeah, where they are competing is very most important thing, I think. Yeah.
I actually had one more thing to add. I don't want to draw it out too long, but the other thing is timing, right? Market timing, because there's some great projects that were just too early, but then, and now too late. Yeah, so market timing is another important one.
No, very, very good aspects, because also once in your cases, right, when it comes to the project, they successfully were funded by you. I'm sure you heard about the term about smart investors, finding the valuable investors, also from founders' perspective, right? Can any of you recall or tell us a story, like a success story, where your investment and support for the portfolio really drove their growth and had really a significant impact? So starting with you, Kim.
I have one. So we backed a company called Puffer Finance. They're an LRT. They were very much behind on the LRT race. Others were way ahead of them. And David, our GP, he kind of spoke with them and started to help shape this narrative. We did some articles and whatnot just on the marketing side. And within the first few days of them launching, they received 800 million in deposits. Coming from being no one really knows about them to being one of the top LRT projects. So I think leveraging the fact that Bankless Ventures focus a lot on narrative and network really, really helped them a lot.
No, great. No, thank you, Kim. Over to you.
Yeah, we have a strong network in the Japanese market. And also we started this company since November 22. So we don't have any big results, but we have supported a portfolio company to enter the Japanese market, introduce some of Japanese big companies, like biggest telecommunications company, biggest financial institutions, and the government, and also connect to developer community to increase developer use our portfolio company's technology. And also I've been, as I said, I founded 3 startups, so I'm also entrepreneur, so I can understand what the founders are thinking. So maybe we can provide. And depends on funders' needs and something like that. Yep, that's it.
I think that we are in the middle of the journey, so it's really hard to highlight one company because the success is not final. That's what I believe, and I believe that maybe in 5 years we can really tell the stories of the success of this company. They're that they're collaborating with some major Web2 brands and governments. So that's why we all focused on the long term. Of course there were some mid-term success stories, and there were multiple like that, but I still believe in the future success.
No, very valid words. And also, I can tell from the pitches and the discussion we had last year, there's a change of sentiment from founders. So often at the end of the call, actually founders ask us, okay, what strategic value can you as a VC give to us? So there's really, I observed it at least a change in the market as well. And at the end we can see it as a matchmaking process, right? You're the founder, you want to find the right VC and vice versa. So no, that's a very valid point. No, thanks for that. And if we come to, cases or let's say mistakes you saw from founders, doesn't have to be from your existing portfolio or from other founders who pitched to you. What were common mistakes you saw when pitching to investor, and how do you think this can be prevented?
Actually, it's not about pitching. That there is one mistake founders are doing, that then they try to pitch investors at the conferences. And you should listen to my project, and then there is 5-minute pitch in the middle of the crowd that everyone around is talking. So what I usually say to founders, if you want to get an investor, if you meet any investor at the conference, do a few sentences with some killer words, some bullish points of your project. So because what you need to catch the attention of investor. That's the major thing you need to do. When you say some trigger words to investor, he will follow up with your project. He would love to get more information about the project. And then there is the roles are changing. Don't need just to say okay, let me open my pitch deck on my phone and try to pitch you something or show MVP or whatever. Just tell some really trigger words, tackle these narratives, and then the investor will be fascinated and keen to follow up afterwards on the proper call. Another thing, it's not about the pitching, but the major mistake I feel that founders are doing is, as it was mentioned, they miss on timing. You should know when to build, what to build, when to launch, and who to deliver. Because something you build right now, which is on the very it's overhyped, it might not be that popular in a few months. So timing, of course, it's another major mistake that I've noticed even from the projects from our portfolio from the ex-bull run, the previous bull run, or even right now, I see that founders are struggling because they launched the product 2 years before, and then they did the first round. Now they're trying to collect another round. So timing is it.
Maybe there are a lot of issues, but I think a lot of funders should think their funding strategy because it depends on the background of, for example, if you're a serial entrepreneur, it'll be easy to raise money, maybe oversubscribed, but if you're a first-time founder and if you don't have any good background, you need to build your product and you need to show your capability. So maybe, I hope founders should think more, their funding strategy, maybe not only funding, the way to show your capability or to get awareness and something like that. That's it.
I would echo what both of you said. My advice is just to not pitch. I find, especially at these conferences, I was telling a friend today, you're gonna get a check from someone that you already know, that you already have a relationship with, or a check from someone that have introed you. So what's the best thing to do to build that relationship? Build those relationships and build your personal brand, and then things will come to you.
No, really, no. That's a very valid point. Because also, as you mentioned, there's really a difference about the warm introductions, the cold reach out. So there, it's really the key to really navigate who is the right investor for you and who you know already in your network, right, to contribute to that. Yeah, with that, actually, we're coming to the end of our panel. And if you have any questions to the audience, please feel free to ask them right now. And thanks a lot to our panelists. Yeah, and we have a first question.
Thank you. Network. Maybe I missed it, I don't know, because it was too noisy behind me, but does any one of you look into sustainability investment also?
ESG.
Yes, I can just So, as I might say, because I started to explore ESG probably 4 or 5 years back, because it was one of the major topic on World Economic Forum. So it's 2018, 19 Davos. And it's the interesting fact that people misunderstand the whole ESG, the impact investment in general. They treat it as a charity probably. Then they don't understand the massive value of the space. And right now, we are disrupting with the Web3 technology, and I do believe personally that ESG and Web3 technology is the one to serve ESG. Now we have ESG, we have longevity, we have multiple I call it impact investments, right? But if we are talking about, and it's the future, so we are evolving. Now we have DP, we have AI, but AI in the sense that Web3 is serving to AI. The intersection happening that the AI was there for a long time, and Web3 is providing a certain layer, for example, of decentralization or some other benefits to the AI technology, right? The same as ESG. So it was separate, but it's a massive industry where Web3 can be the good addition. But unfortunately, we are not there yet. So, for example, we know IR, there is a carbon credit market, it's another thing actually. So the infrastructure is not ready yet. And people don't understand the whole power of ESG in general in the Web3 space, unfortunately, because we started from the token investment. And I remember the journey, we are evolving, we are learning, we are growing ourselves. Because we started, I started 2017, and it was a bare understanding of technology, but okay, will it pump or not? The second was who are the VCs? And now you really look at the product, you really look at the market around, you do multiple kind of strategies to evaluate the product. But yeah, it started, it's already started, carbon credit, Web3 space, ESG, then the focus on the enterprise, of course. That's a massive space, and I do believe in a few years we're going to be there, and it's going to be, or even early, it's going to be one of the massive topics and narrative in this Web3 market.
We don't look at Any other questions? I can tell you where to send the pitch deck.
All right. Yes, we have one question here.
Yeah, thank you for the panel. Please tell me how you consider equity via token investments and soft plus safe plus token warrants and stuff in early stage. What's your vision on that? And which kind of investments you prefer to make? And do you see any shifts in that?
You're saying the form of investment?
Safe or token warrant.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I know. The question is basically what kind of type of investment we prefer, token on equity, as as of now. So yeah, I can start from that. Token investment SAFT makes sense. Then there is the proper utility of the token itself, right? It depends. Because sometimes there is no need for any token. So you need, and especially this market, Last cycle, like, yeah, of course, like there are multiple tokens that just did this, like was trading, like generating like KOLs management, whatever. Now it's can't sustain long term, unfortunately, because the market is more transparent. So you need to generate the proper utility. You need to have users who's got the demand of your token. So if it makes sense, we do the token investment. We don't like that much care of the equity, but if there is, in terms of the infrastructure, I believe equity plus token investments prevail. Yeah, I hope you agree. So because, and even for us an investor, we are like looking at the long-term investments. Of course, we expect to have some good return and revenue from tokens, but still we would love to be a part of some technology of the future. And even within 10 years, nobody knows, right? And the problem in the Web3 market that lots of VC and especially Web3 funds, they don't understand the exit strategy of the equity because it's not what they got used to. But at this time, I believe most of my colleagues, they do invest in equity and they have invest in equity, then or equity plus token, then it makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with Juliet, but maybe when we decide to invest in Web3 project, we checking the funder, how funders is thinking decentralization. Because our core investment thesis is based on decentralization. Because decentralization makes censorship resistance, and censorship resistance enable build credible neutrality. And then anyone goes to Ethereum and then build any application. That's the source of innovation. So basically, when the project need a token, they should be decentralized. So we are checking this type of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have much to add. We like tokens. We also do equity. I think on the regulatory side, what's been preferred is the SAFE with a side letter instead of token warrants. That's been we've been seeing that trend a lot. But yeah, I echo the same thing that my colleague said.
Also, honestly, also in our fund, I agree. We do both safe and plus token warrant, also SAFT. Around 70%, we prefer actually token investing as well, but depending again if it's pre-seed or seed stage, and if it makes sense, as Julia mentioned, in terms of token use. But yeah, I think. Do we have any other more questions before we close this panel? If not, yeah, feel free if you have any questions also to reach out individually to the panelists. And thanks again, each one of you. And yeah, thank you for listening in.
Our partners Bybit and Moldau for hosting us over here and supporting us during this event. Thank you to Transact, who have put out a bounty for this hackathon for their integration. Thank you to Foundership for supporting us in this as well. And all of our partners who were a part of this event today. Thanks to the Blockchain for Good Alliance for also hosting an amazing panel and highlighting the importance of sustainability and ESG in blockchain as well. And last but not least, thank you so much to our esteemed VCs for participating in a panel. And yeah, I guess the fun begins. We'll see you again here in exactly 30 days so you can see what has come out of this hackathon. I'm really, really excited to host the demo day and get kicked off with the mentorship and the challenges. And yeah, that's it from me. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you guys so much.